All right, we got some playoff scenarios to talk about, so let's just talk about them. First, just what you see on the screen. That is my prediction for how every Week 18 game is going to go. Feel free to disagree with me, and I might even change by the prediction show on Wednesday how I feel about some of these games. But we're more here just to talk about scenarios. I also, just for the record, I have the Ravens winning tonight, and I have the Bengals winning tomorrow. So again, things could change, but as of right now, let's just look at how things would stand if everything I predict does in fact happen. First, we have Kansas City, who I have getting the 1 seed, so they're feeling pretty good, but you're playing the Raiders, who are, they just played the Niners tough, so it's not a guaranteed win in Week 18, and if they drop that game, it would be the winner of the Bills-Bengals game, most likely, assuming they would win their Week 18 matchup as well. Then they would be the team that gets the 1 seed, so those 3 teams very much have an opportunity to get the 1 seed. The 4 seed, I have Jacksonville there. Again, all going to come down to the game against the Titans next week. It's a playoff game essentially on Week 18. The other 3 teams I have making it are the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Dolphins. Chargers and Ravens are essentially locked in. And by essentially locked in, I mean they're locked in. They've clinched. So those 2 teams are in. It's really the 7 seed that's the question mark. I have Miami making it, but let's get into the whole list so we can talk about kind of scenarios in general. So the reason, over here, let's start off with the AFC East, the top left-hand corner of the screen, as I have the Patriots losing to the Bills next week. What's interesting, though, is that the Monday night game could determine if the Patriots make the playoffs or not, because if the Bills lose next week, maybe it'll get locked out of the 1 seed at that point and then won't really be trying to win as badly and maybe rest some starters, in which case the Patriots would have a better chance to win. If everything else holds and the Patriots win, they are in the playoffs with a 9-8 record. There is no way for them to miss the playoffs if they win next week. So despite this disaster of a season, there's a chance that the Packers, Buccaneers, and Patriots all find a way to make the playoffs, which would be kind of crazy to think about. And it's not that difficult, especially, again, depending on how much Buffalo is trying to win that football game. But I still have Buffalo as the favorite right now, meaning that it would go to Miami, who I have beating the Jets. Now, if both teams lose in that scenario, it would be still the Patriots who would get in that situation. And other than that, there really isn't much there. The Jets are out. The Raiders are now out. The Browns have been out for a minute now. So it's really Jacksonville and Tennessee, and then Miami and New England. Those are the 2 teams, and those are the 2 spots up for grabs in the AFC, and it's 2 teams competing for each spot. So the NFC is where things get a bit more interesting. So heading over here, this is the NFC, and I have the Eagles still. I think that they will end up being the 1 seed, especially when you factor in the Giants have nothing to play for, but things could get interesting if they lose. If they lose, they could fall all the way to the 5 seed. That's actually where I would have them falling, and it would be the Niners who I have getting the 1 seed in that scenario. The 49ers have a very real chance. They play Arizona, so while the Eagles will probably beat the Giants, and that won't really come into play, if they lose, that could be interesting. And if they lose and the 49ers lose, then it would actually be Dallas who gets in, assuming they win. If all of those teams lose, then it would still be Philadelphia who ends up as the 1 seed. So there's a scenario that Philadelphia gets the 1 seed with a loss, but it seems very, very unlikely. The reality is they probably need to win to get the 1 seed. The nice thing, got a team who isn't probably going to be playing many of their starters, so no need to be too concerned there. Tampa Bay is the 4 seed. That is where they will be. Dallas is, again, probably going to be the 5 seed, barring a Philadelphia loss to the Giants. No matter what happens with the Vikings, they cannot get the 1 seed, so they're either going to be the 3 seed or the 2 seed, which, there's an advantage there, but it's not anything massive. The Giants are locked into the playoffs here. The win doesn't just guarantee that they will get the division, but it also guarantees that they will be at the 6 seeds, so cannot do worse than the 6 seeds. So it seems likely that they're going to be playing Minnesota, which might be where they want to hang out, because they played Minnesota very tough, did lose, but played them very tough the first time, so that might be a more advantageous matchup than a San Francisco. Again, still plenty of teams it could be. The 7 seeds where things get interesting, I do have Green Bay getting it, but let's talk about the other teams that could get there. So heading over here, these are the other teams. This is the situation where, again, the teams that are locked in, it's actually every team that is in bold is they've clinched. So those are the 6 teams that are in. There's still 1 spot up for grabs, but a couple teams that could get it. Actually, 3 teams here still have a chance for that final 7 seed. And while it might seem like a 7 seed, that's going to be difficult. You're going to have to probably go play San Francisco, then go play Philadelphia, and then go play in an NFC Championship game. Let's not forget, though, that the Packers won the Super Bowl as a 6 seed. So it's obviously possible that was Rodgers' 1 Super Bowl. So it is definitely, there's a chance there. Now let's talk about situations. So I have the Packers winning. If the Packers win, they are in. They cannot not make the playoffs with in that situation. All they have to do is win. For Detroit and Seattle, they both need to win and have a game go their way. Detroit needs to win and have Seattle lose for them to get in, and that's going to be tough, to be honest. Seattle plays the Rams, who I guess Baker Mayfield's, they're not a mess with Baker Mayfield out there, so there's still some hope there, but definitely Seattle will be favored in that football game. But still, that's what you need to happen if you're Detroit. As for Seattle, what they need to have happen is they're actually rooting for the Lions, whereas the Lions are going to be rooting against the Seahawks, because the Seahawks need a win and a Lions win. That means the Packers lose. The Seahawks would then get in with a 9-8 record. I decided to just, I don't know, out of curiosity, check it out. And if the Seahawks lost and the Lions and the Packers tied, then the Lions would get in. But again, I don't think that's going to happen. When I do these situations, I don't really pay attention to ties because that's just such a rare occurrence, although it almost happened last year. So maybe I should pay a little bit more of attention to it. But that seems to be the scenario. So again, a few interesting scenarios. All the 1 seeds are up for grabs, but a lot of things got cleared out this week, I thought, to where there's not as much craziness going on. There's just 3 playoff spots now up for grabs, but still, that's still a decent amount. And again, you think about the addition of the 7 seed, where would we be at? Well, in the NFC, every playoff spot would be accounted for, and in the AFC, the only one that would be up for grabs would be Jacksonville, Tennessee. Everything else would be locked in. So the fact that we have this extra seed is certainly interesting. My predictions are that I think that Green Bay gets in, I think that Jacksonville gets in, and I think Miami gets in. But it wouldn't be crazy to see New England get in. It wouldn't be crazy to see Tennessee get in. It wouldn't be crazy to see the Lions or the Seahawks get in. So a lot of interesting stuff down the stretch. But yeah, I figured I'd make a video now kind of recapping just where we're at now, what this week means, and what next week, and sort of a quick preview for next week. Should be a lot of fun. But yeah, that's what I think about all this. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.